El-Zakzaky story has been on since the courts granted an order giving permission for him to travel to India for a treatment. Now, from the messages we have been and reports we've been reading since yesterday, from the audio message he sent and all of that, he said there are new development, twists, and even what some people might call drama to all of this. El-Zakzaky requesting to check into a 5-star hotel, requesting to have his passport back in when on their way when they got to Dubai, and now there were also comments saying, okay, I'm not getting the best of treatment from the hospital I chose, so either I might proceed to be treated either in Malaysia, in Indonesia, or another country from India. I wonder what you make of this. Let me start with you, Obani.
Let me first say that before now, there is no love lost between the leader of IMN and the federal government. But it's only dramatic that we're still showing how we here as a nation in another man's territory. Everybody clamored, they were marching on the road that they want to go for treatment, only to get to India and Dubai and start a lot of dramas. It's funny that we are dictating for another country of sovereignty on how a particular Nigerian should be treated. And it's not unusual looking at the pedigree of El-Zakzaky and the Shiite movement. You and I know that even while it's getting down to India, the Shiite movement in India is already waiting for. So Indian government is also being careful in order not to empower a terrorist organization or to use their country as a way of forming network. But if you look at it critically, you find out that for me personally, I feel that El-Zakzaky is not looking for that medical checkup or what have you.
Why do you think so?
He's just looking for a place to seek asylum and run away from the system. Because if you look at back home in Kaduna, El-Rufai has demolished every structure that has to do with IMN movement. And federal government is accepting every form of financial network to the so-called leaders. So the only way where you can start to renegotiate, have new network, have new finances, try to form your clique again is why getting out of this show. And government is, I was reading Femi Falana's account yesterday and he was saying they were grateful that the Nigerian ambassador actually had to intervene. And you recall that Femi was the one that was saying the Nigerian government was not to bend the court order and this. So if the so-called defendant or the victim now is not obeying the law of another land, it put most to be. All right.
Dr. Kerry, I wonder what you make of this seeming unfolding drama from this whole issue. The Medenta hospital that El-Zakzaky is, it was he that made the choice of that hospital. And then going there now, he says the situation is likening it to be worse than Kirikiri prison.
What it means is that he wants to be in Kirikiri prison. That is the only thing I can make out of that. You know, but I think that it is a serious issue. Serious in the sense that we have seen the potential of the IMN. We've seen what they are capable of doing, and they've shown a lot of it. But this time around, I think the challenge really is that we can see from both the body language of the Shiite movement, the leader, and all that we can say around him that what he wanted is a kind of freedom, not medical whatever. Because I'm not aware that hospitals have become, 5-star hotels have become, treatment points. So if what he really wanted was treatment, good enough, he has chosen. How are we so sure that at the time they move him to Malaysia, he will do the same thing and all of that? Or is it that he has some, some base, some strong points in those areas? That's why. Because so far here in Nigeria, much of medical tourism is India, not Malaysia, not Dubai. Dubai is just coming up. So for him to begin to tell us that even India that he chose is no longer a safe haven, then clearly something is fitching. He said that as a lot of networks have been blocked, federal government has caged, so many of those things that he was expecting in India. And that is why he's opting out for another place. Otherwise, I do not see, it's not that the hospital has made any statement saying that this thing is beyond us. Here, it was medical doctors that ascertained his state of health and said, you need to do this. Let medical doctors there equally tell us that the situation we found with this man, we can't handle it. Now, on the basis of that, we will know that India does not have what it takes to take care of what is really suffering from that cannot be treated there. So I am thinking that the thing is beyond medical. But at the same time, too, I think Well, the federal government, to a large extent, has handled this in a manner that has kind of promoted, I'm not even sure that this problem started just recently. I don't know why it has lasted that long before. So if he had not confronted the Chief of Army Staff, we will not even have any way of dealing with, all the issues about, the activities that were more or less preventing others from,
Yeah, but from the window, Dr. Kerry is saying, when it comes to worship and all of that, they have the right to
it's not about worship.
There's no doubt about that.
But that's about their worship pattern.
If you look at the case of El-Zakzaky, I'm not sure whether you've watched this movie called Prison Break.
Okay.
Prison Break.
Everybody,
I wish you have.
He
so
was a series everyone
what
wanted to
El-Zakzaky
watch.
is trying to do is close to what a prison break is. So you determine who your doctor is, who your cook is, who your security guard is. Federal government should leave. So at the end of the day, government is not that stupid. So that's what you get.
All right. Okay, we wait to see how these things will play out as we get along. Thank you very much, Obani Akinwale, for coming on the program. Thank you. Dr. Danekere, thank you very much for coming.
It's always a pleasure.
Headlined in the dailies this morning. Talking about the review, though, I have here with me in-house analyst Obani Akinwale and lecturer at the University of Lagos, Dr. Dan Ekere. Good morning to you both, gentlemen.
Good morning.
It's good to have you on the program today. So let's check out the big stories. Daily Trust is leading with Zakzaky FG Bika over Indian treatment. Why I'm not comfortable, he says. He wants to stay in five-star hotel. This is from the permanent secretary of the Foreign Affairs Ministry. And then a reaction from the Indian government. Blueprint is next, still on the El-Zakzaky issue. Now he gets an ultimatum from the Indian government which says be treated or return home. Medical trip, another detention. This is from the IMN leader, Sheikh El-Zakzaky. But then the federal government is quoted as saying he wants VIP treatment, orders not granted by court. Will resolve all issues. This is from the IHRC. The next paper to look at is Nigerian News Direct. Nigeria will comply with OPEC, non-OPEC output cut deal. NNPC GMD Melekiari says this was done, or this was said while the NNPC GMD and the Midwestern Group met. He also identified solutions to sectors' challenges. That's the Nigerian News Direct. What's Vanguard saying? Kirikiri prison better than Indian hospital. El-Zakzaky says 6 return home, rejects treatment from unknown doctors, as he put it. Hospital backpedals, begins treatment. El-Zakzaky is misbehaving in India, FG says. He wants to check into a 5-star hotel. The final paper at this point now is The Nation, leading with what it calls a 3 billion naira fraud. EFCC quizzes head of service, Florence Oyoita. President may suspend top official, 600 million naira found in aide's account. Gentlemen, let's look at the Zakzaky issue. It's trending all over. Dr. Ekere, he's talking about the Indian hospital now being another detention. But then the order to travel wasn't absolute. It came with conditions.
Yeah, you're right. And those conditions have to be met. But the most important thing is that the major demand was that he needed to undergo medical, treatment. And he chose a particular destination. It was granted. And there he is. So I was expecting that the man would just submit himself for treatment. At the point he was making that demand, he didn't say that the doctors in that hospital were not known to him and all of that. So if it was a case of, I want my personal physician to take care of me, then that could have as well been done here in Nigeria. You don't need to be in India to do that. That's assuming he has a personal physician who has been attending to his needs. So if that was the case, I think it would have been more straightforward, that I needed to be treated by somebody I can trust. That would have been a very clear thing. But now you opted for, treatment
a certain hospital.
outside. Here you are. So I expect that what should be done is he submits himself for, medical attention, and let the doctors in that hospital be the ones who say that this place cannot handle the condition we are seeing. Let them be the ones who recommend. Normally that's what happens, the referrals. They have not, I'm not sure they've done anything they've not even finished with the preliminaries, let alone asserting a position of, okay, we can do this or we cannot do that. Right. So chances are that what El-Zakzaky is actually seeking is another form of liberation, not medical attention.
Doctor, let's run along. Looking at the Kaduna High Court ruling now, Engineer Ni, do you think it was wholesome enough? Because the court ordered that he be escorted by SSS officials, but then he couldn't have. Now he's saying he needs his privacy.
Now let's look at what relief was sought at the High Court in Kaduna, was to allow IMN man to be able to get medical attention, and he has been certified that it cannot be treated in Nigeria. So, and that was what was sought, and that was also granted. So it's now becoming a comic relief when after this is what you asked for, you were given the same thing you were asked for. If you feel that government should not follow you, the lawyers can go back to court and appeal and say, no, we don't want anybody to follow us. Maybe it's treatment in secrecy. Maybe it's IMN version of medical medicine. We don't know. So, but this is what you sought for at the court, and this is what court has granted. Now getting to where you are supposed to get the medication. Now, before even any other test, you are now insisting that, oh, these are the kind of people that must touch you if this has to happen. So it shows the kind of mindset that the organization IMN has. And again,
but what options are even before IMN now? Do you think they would take the option of coming home?
There is a very clear option as stated in the Vanguard newspaper, if that is true. Since Mendeta Hospital is no longer a place that they could use, Kirikiri is already there. So I'm sure that the IMN is aware that they have competent medical doctors at Kirikiri that can attend to El-Zakzaky.
Do you see them returning? Do you see the Sheikh returning home?
I know they are jokers.
What is also intriguing for me now is the Indian stance. It smacks of a respect of the Nigeria-India relations, so to speak. I mean, they will have a serious answering to if the Sheikh flouts any of the order. It won't even be a war on, so to speak, on the El-Zakzaky. It will be India having to answer serious questions to the government in Nigeria.
Yeah, clearly, because all of that, I am very convinced, would have been sorted out before even granting that he should go to India for medical attention. So it's only expected that India should actually, play the role it's playing, because it's a sovereign state, just like Nigeria is, and they have terms of relationship, and those terms must be sustained, so that we don't create a situation that will eventually become a problem for the two countries, just like what they are trying to do now, that is becoming a serious situation for the country in Nigeria. Over the years, the IMN has been carrying on as if, it owns, it has its own laws that it obeys. But that's not true, because every religious organization, for as long as you are within a sovereign state, must abide by the rules. And I think that is exactly what the government is doing. Although I wasn't too happy when the government, at a point of various court rulings, they failed to obey. But now that this one has happened, I expect that they should make the best use of this opportunity, so that you don't begin to create a scenario that suggests that what you have in mind is actually clandestine in nature.
Talking about court orders for the government to obey, Dasuki Gate controversy now, do you see the government heeding this time?
Well, I cannot vouch for the government, because so far it has not really shown so much, respect for the law in terms of, the various rulings in respect of Dasuki. But I hope that now that this one has happened, they should take a cue from this and respect every other ruling that will come eventually.
Right. Does it read similarly for you? Are the facts or are the scenarios the same? Yeah.
If you look at what the former Attorney General said at the swearing, he said, and the President confirmed that, he said, freedom and national security can never be compromised. So the case of Dasuki is totally different from, it's a national security issue.
But then the rule of law.
The rule of law must be protected, but not at the detriment of everybody. Right. So the certain things that you and I don't know, like El-Zakzaky now, his case is global case. Iran is interested, and India trade war with Nigeria will not, because if you look at most of our importation, it's coming from India. So everybody is careful. And again, before landing in India, you could find out that the Shiite movement in India are already waiting for their guests. So the government sometimes try as much as possible to keep certain information away from us, so that they don't create a panic mood. But in case of the former Dasuki, I'm very sure that very soon Dasuki will also be a free man.
Gentlemen, Obani Akinwale and Dr. Dan Ekere, thank you so much for your analysis of the papers
Thank you.
this morning.
El-Zakzaky story is still on. Some analysts are now saying that it seems there is too much attention, media attention on this issue, making it more important than it originally or it is meant to be. Doctor, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. You know, the media can make anybody important. The media is critical to that. You know, so if not for the media, we would not actually have much about El-Zakzaky. You know, there is a way this issue would have been dealt with, and it would not generate the kind of, you know, the tension, the uproar,
or even sensation.
The kind of sensation it is given now. You know, so yeah, I am actually thinking that the time has come for the media to be sometimes, you know, to sometimes treat some of these issues with some little level of, you know, that consideration. That at the time we overstretch this, it could get to this level. Because El-Zakzaky has been there over the years, really. And not much has been heard, even though he has been doing all manner of things that people have complained about. You know, but this one, the level it has reached now with respect to reportage, I think we are promoting too much of El-Zakzaky. Now, what do? We can't afford not to report some of these issues. No, but there's a way they could be reported that the level of sensation will not be there. For instance, a man has asked to, you know, be taken to a hospital of his choice. Now he's there. You know, there's a way you will report it that will look like the federal government has not done well by doing this. And why would you give him this, give him that, and all of that? All right. But there's equally a way you will report it that will show that, yeah, all has been done. The man is the one who is not serious. So it's a function of how it is reported. People can make their own meaning out of it. But at the same time, too, I think what El-Zakzaky is seeking, in my thinking, is beyond medical attention. I'm thinking that he has something else up his sleeves that they really want to perhaps exercise or execute. Perhaps he was anticipating something, just like we found that all over, you know, his men are here and there. Some were even waiting for him there, thinking that he was going to have a robust environment. Yeah, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So what you can find is the kind of thing he's not doing. So I think we should play down on it because it has happened in other climes, and even names of such persons were not mentioned. You know, so when you every day El-Zakzaky, it looks like it's a very important thing.
I like also to see from that window as well. The point there is, a Nigerian, I think yesterday, was saying that from government dragging on this issue and feeding this issue on the front burner every day has made a hero out of El-Zakzaky on one hand. But if you look at what is going on when it comes to the window from human rights, rule of law, and all of that, the media is being able to draw attention to what should be, what the standards should be, and all of that. How do we strike a balance between doing the job of the media, ensuring that the searchlight is on the right issues, and
balancing that,
and balancing it against the concept of the fact that, okay, fine, we're making hero out of an issue that is not supposed to be?
Yeah, I don't know whether you remember there was a popular soft cell called Ikebe Super. In the holding names.
Of course. Everyone read Ikebe Super.
Not everyone.
Oh, okay.
A
lot of people.
What you discover now is that if care is not taken, the media as it were, the traditional media as it were supposed to set agenda. But unfortunately, what we find out now is that the social media, the incursion of social media is now setting agenda. So what we find out now is that there is sort of laziness in journalism. So what you want to have is a headline that will drag people to your newspaper and get. And where do you get it from? Look for a trending issue on the social media and put at the front burner. If you look at even in UK, you see the case of Kafi, Big Brother. So what you find out now is that laziness is gradually encroaching to media. Instead of us facing our traditional responsibility, setting agenda, we are allowing every gossip, call to it, now to set agenda for the newspaper. Now, in terms of human rights, media as supposed to be the fourth estate of realm and supposed to be voice of the voiceless. Yes. Is El-Zakzaky voiceless? No. El-Zakzaky is one of the leaders of a movement.
But he has rights.
Of a global movement.
But he has rights.
Yeah. My father used to tell me, he said, your liberty to throw your fist, stop at your neighbor's nose. The right that El-Zakzaky has to exercise his fundamental human right stops at the sovereignty of the nation and of the country, India. So the right that he has does not say that it will subjugate other people's rights. The court said You demanded that no hospital in Nigeria can treat you. The court said, yes, it has been affirmed. Go for treatment. On getting there, you are now want to set the ball. Let's say, for example, I come to your house, and your wife decided to give me a bar. And I said no, that I want to eat pounded yam. And you said, you are my visitor. And I said no, the fact that I'm here, you must do what I want to want. You won't allow that. So,
but you're my friend. I can make a bar for you.
As much as she has rights, he has rights for proper health medical care, proper his personal physicians. Nonetheless, he should not take it for granted on another man's land and dictate how things happen. Right. And again, media should try as much as possible to set agenda and not to overset. Look at the headline from Vanguard: Kiri Kiri better than Indian hospital. Where did they get that from? So these are some of the things that media needs to look into, and we need to do proper journalism.
All right. Thank you very much, Bani Akinwale, for coming on the program. Dr. Danikere, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Right.